Okay, Church of Christ, it is time to explain to you how God played all of these people like a fiddle, okay? What I am going through is considered re-education camp. So what they're doing to people like Charles Sideropoulos and myself, who are considered Trump supporters after they had Trump in office, to identify who a Trump supporter would be using social media. That was the entire operation, was to run Trump and then identify the Trump supporters. And you got to look at a Trump supporter as somebody that would be old industry. That's what a Trump supporter is. Oil, gas, and chemical, as well as cattle and farming and things like that. Even goes down to that, right? So your old industry is a Trump supporter, and your Hillary industry would be the technological type folks. Now, Biden is both, right? And that was the whole deal. If you look at the dominoes, that was what I put together for everybody, was to dovetail the two in Texas with a whole lot of Machiavellian techniques and trickery that duped everybody into dovetailing. And that's what it takes. Otherwise, there would have been a big bloody war. And this isn't over yet. So I'm still working out the details here. So what I wanted to tell you, what the technological side of the people supporting the Hillary type movement, or the technological economy folks, got together and they hacked and tortured a lot of people, including myself. What they call it is waterboarding, and they're re-educating you, right? They're re-educating you by hammering your mind with electromagnetic technology after they put, and they can resonate off your DNA and all that stuff I've already explained. You know the concept now. It's literally a digital prison. Okay, that's what they're doing to Christians specifically. If you're a Christian Trump supporter, they have hacked your children's minds and they're uploading homosexual tendencies to help curb the population trend. That is what you want to tell the Church of Christ if you want to, really do something about this. Now, I've got United States Army Special Operations Command involved, and that's somebody that would give Biden orders, which, if you know what I mean, okay? So Biden's just up there. He's just a talking head. Basically, what you've got right now is a military coup, and they're in charge. So what they're going to end up doing is probably finding out, locating and identifying the people that were behind the MK Ultra programs and these different technologies to re-educate citizens, which is highly illegal. It's human trafficking is what it is, on top of torture, murder, and genocide. And then they're going to military tribunals, and they're going to round them up for me so that I can put a bullet in their head. Because I asked to have that honor. But what I wanted to get at is the way God hustled all of these people. If you'll notice the Bravo logo, right? The AI initiative, and the fallen one was join the military, and that was cosmic instructions. And then when I got there, the puzzle, the dots were already laid out on the puzzle was already put together for me, right? Everybody else had to put it together. The dots were already on the board. They just hadn't been connected yet. But when I joined the military right before 9/11, if you'll watch Transcendence, when I was at Fort Carson, they identified me somehow because they had already hacked the soldier's mind. Of course, you sign up for the military, and that's a little different, right? So if you sign up for the military and they hack your mind, that's one thing. You're considered government property, okay? That's a whole different story than hacking innocent civilians' lives and torturing them in their own home, hoping they commit suicide, which many of them do, okay? You can look at Charles Sideropoulos's Facebook page, which is a perfect account of what they're doing to people. Now, here's how God hustled them When they identified that I was one of the fallen ones, however you want to look at it, okay, migraines, Buck and Adeline's field, okay, I had the cosmic energy, right, literally. These are all true stories. I can verify every bit of this beyond, I mean, it's real simple for me to verify it because it's already been verified by, when this story comes out, you'll understand. I'm not deceiving you here. I have no reason to lie, okay? This story was put together for me, and all I got to do is tell the story. I'm not making anything up, okay? So this re-education program hustle that took place is they were re-educating me in jobs that I had, okay? So you got to realize I've got cosmic technology on board that was hustling them while they were re-educating me. And I can explain that very easily. One of my jobs, the first job was well, not the first job, but to be able to explain this, a cyanide plant, okay? So that was after I did the, hook me up to the machine, took a bunch of LSD in the Army, opened my mind up, and I was literally, if you'll watch Transcendence, and there's a guy on the television, the AI-looking guy, and a monitor in front of me, and they were merging my mind with AI, and that was agreed to, right? So they developed a system to all of these CIA avatars, okay, which are politicians. They put me in their system and made me the root hub to hustle them when it was all over. And it was literally a cosmic operation that the Army was involved in, and it was a joint venture, okay? Literally, I'm not making this up, and when I get done with the story, you'll understand all of this. Unbelievably true, okay? So when I worked at the cyanide plant, that would entail feeding people cyanide, right? So like you give them bad information, give governments bad information. That was what was going on. I was in their system. The information that was in my mind was being used to drive their system, kind of like the Keystone Pipeline that was coming down from Canada, and I talked about that technocracy in the last video and how that was canceled, and now the Keystone Pipeline's canceled so that Little Horn, King of the South, could have the Permian Basin play. So there's a whole lot of cyanide out there and a whole lot of people in the government's stomach right now. It's just boiling, getting ready to kill them, right? These are the people that would have signed off on re-education camps, and that's what they did. They re-educated me. So that was the re-education camp for that part of the job. You see how the hustle went on here? So I worked at a cyanide plant, and then I was re-educated to feed all of the people that were attacking me cyanide, right? See why God asked Lucifer to kill all these people? Because it's, there's like I said, satanic Jesus, all right? Look at the dominoes board, okay? Those kind of go hand in hand, believe it or not. When you got pagans trying to kill Christians, Lucifer's on your side, okay? At that point in time, of course, if you don't want to preach that because that's not the way you're supposed to preach it, right? So, but it is a good idea to understand that if you're a spiritual leader and you're Christian, okay? I literally. So, or you're going to get railroaded by other religions and this AI particularly is what will railroad you, and it isn't religious at all, okay? It's basically the Antichrist. So, then I was working at Buckeye Pipeline, right? I was a pipeliner. So now, which carried out after I was re-educated, I'm a prophetic gangster, right? So what I do is use the cyanide, plant it, look through the wormholes when I close my eyes. I've got several wormholes I can look to that go out to different avenues into the future. So I can say, here's the cyanide, and then I can close my eyes and look at the wormhole into the future and see if that cyanide's going to kill the target that I wanted to kill, right? Literally. And I don't kill anything but demons. I wouldn't be sharing this information with you if I wanted to wish harm against anybody. My basic philosophy is treat people as you wish to be treated. Hacking people's minds and torturing them is in order to re-educate them so that I call them polio slaves, okay? Political input, output. Those people actually believe politics is everything. And they think they have to re-educate you to have a different political outlook. But what they didn't understand is I was down on the bio, minding my own business. I didn't care about politics, right? So they also didn't understand about my history. So it was a trap, okay? So I was a pipeliner at Buckeye Pipeline, and that converted into a prophetic gangster, okay? Now, while I was working for Buckeye Pipeline, they ran the pay-to-play scheme for Lieutenant Dan because I was married to a Russian. When I got out of the Army, I married a Russian. She lived here in America with me for 8 years. So they had a FISA warrant on me because they could technically say, oh, this guy's married to a Russian. We need to watch his electronic data and his metadata. So that's what they did, and they handed me Lieutenant Dan Patrick's phone number, his old phone number. That way, any of the metadata that was coming into his phone, like if a hooker called him, which was planted blackmail, if a hooker called him, then they could say, oh, we got what we need, right? And that's when they tried to murder me with 3 heart attacks and a stroke, and that's when the Buck and Adeline technology kicked in to murder them. But what that did during the process of the prophetic gangster re-education is it turned me into an assassin, right? So now I'm an assassin. This is what the government did to me. I mean, this is the way they re-educated me. This is on them. It's not on me and the people that were running these programs, right? So it's you've got the cyanide plant, then you got the Buckeye Pipeline, and then the assassin. So it's you're feeding them cyanide, then the prophetic gangster, and then an assassin is how they re-educated me. These are true stories, not making any of this up. And if you read all my emails and understood how many people I've already assassinated, you'd understand that all of this is very real. And then the other thing is right before they really hammered me and tortured me, I had already set up my boat and my boathouse. I was basically retired down there, right? I was still working at Buckeye Pipeline, but I mean, I was set, and I wanted to start a fishing guide service. And I had a whole tackle box full of super spooks, topwaters, which is like Jesus walks on water. And then, I was going to go out there and teach people how to fish on the bayou. And I didn't even really have to get a license down there because I was really good friends with the local game warden, which goes a long way. So when you're really good friends with a game warden, you don't need a license to kill, is what that basically comes down to. So these are facts. That's what they're doing to your children. Okay, Church of Christ. They're using this technology on your children. They are hacking your children's minds and re-educating them. And while they're re-educating them, the stream that they're uploading, and here, I tell you what, type in dog porn on Google and hit images, okay, and look at the dog porn. Type in gay porn in Google and hit images. That is the deep mind, right? And they take all of this data, and what they'll do is upload it into your children's minds to make them a satanic demon, okay? And that way, that's how they feed. I mean, this is the new technocracy. This is how they're doing people that are minding their own, good Christians, minding their own business down on the bio, minding their own business. They're hacking them and re-educating them, or using them as hitmen like they used in my case. But see how all of my life story leading up to the moment, Buck and Adeline, played sweeper for the Cosmos and all of that. What do you think I'm sweeping, right? I'm sweeping these demons that are here, okay? That they thought I was going to sweep Christians. That was part, it's all part of the hook. Check out the hook while the DJ revolves it. Vanilla Ice, Ice, baby. Like I said, I wouldn't be giving you all this information there Church of Christ if I was trying to sweep Christians, right? So it's the technological elite who have targets on their backs right now. So you want to take this information and you want to tell it to all of the other pastors and know, and I mean, it sells itself. I'm from Alvin, okay? You can, research me all you want. I don't care. Talk to me in person. Maybe come to my house. I live right down the road from the church there. Come by, shoot the shit with me. I'm not making any of this up, okay? And it all speaks for itself. And it was a cosmic trap for the time that they came in here and started doing this, to weed out who the technological elite were so that they could be assassinated. Okay, that's literally what's going on. So what you got to do in order to save yourselves is make sure that the rest of the Church of Christ, especially in Texas and all the different, your church, all your different kinds of church there that you got, make sure, you know what I'm talking about. Make sure they understand what they're doing, because it's very sophisticated technology, okay? And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't put a fence around you. You can't walk around with a lead bubble around your head to prevent the electromagnetic attack on your mind. Okay, it resonates off your DNA. It resonates off your whole body. All right, your body's an antenna. Okay, that captures this electromagnetic. The 5G, all the satellites, fusion GPS. Russian hookers were peeing on President Trump. That was all part of my scheme. That's the stuff they put. Fusion GPS, Russian hookers were peeing on President Trump. All right, that pegging oil to Bitcoin and mining the moon for helium-3. The key was plucked out of my head to expose all of this when I was in the Army, because they knew the only way they'd be able to stop this was to infiltrate it with the key that could later be translated Iran-Contra, Iran-Con translated. So once you've translated the key, it is unbelievably obvious that they've hacked everybody's mind and turned us into avatars with electromagnetic technology. And my story and the different jobs that I had were a re-education camp that turned into me being what I just said, as well as 77 Fox, which I was a fueler in the military. 77's what I am, pumping fuel for Uncle Sam. Just so happens that the Little Horn playbook's all about the gas man, right? So what we're about to do is use the oil industry to choke the life out of the our competition, who's using illegal technology to pervert your children's minds. And once you cut their chemicals, you get everybody on board with this, hopefully. If not, there's more than one way to skin a cat. But once you've choked the chemical industry, the chemical feed to these different factories and stuff to make cell phones and electronics, because they have to have oil to make their electronics. See, that's the thing they never understood, right? So it's very easy to just squash militarily, right, when you get the military involved. See, Trump was a businessman, and that's all fine and dandy, but he really didn't get the job done. So now you've got a military man, a puppet in there, a military puppet, right, who's controlled by the same system that they hooked me up to in the Army. See what I'm saying? So that military puppet's going to use his military to snuff these people, right? So I hope you're not squeamish there, Church of Christ, because I'm not playing games with these people, okay? So y'all, you stay holy, you do your thing. I'm going to do my thing until my cosmic duties are complete here. I'm not asking anybody to get violent. I don't want anybody to do anything. You don't have to do anything. It's already done. All right. All you got to do is spread the word about this electromagnetic digital prison that they're putting people into to re-educate them out of being the oil, gas, and chemical cattle business, the old industry, so that they can hack your mind and turn you into a slave and drive you into a new industry. And if it doesn't work, they torture you into suicide. Of course, I have Buck and Adeline technology. Look at Charles Sideropoulos' Facebook. He doesn't have Buck and Adeline technology. Okay. Actually, what it does is resonate off your DNA, this technology somehow. The way that you buck that is cinnamon used to make my lips swell up. and it doesn't anymore, right? That was just so that I could prove that my DNA will morph on you, like Morpheus from The Matrix. Once your DNA morphs, they can't get a feed on that anymore. They can't resonate off of it to control your mind. And that's what everybody in Washington's lacking. So once they've hacked them and murdered them and turned them into a demonic avatar, that's what they end up being. And they just do the bidding of the demonic realm, right? So it takes somebody with that cosmic needle that came down there in Buck and Adeline's field, the way all of that just magically worked out. I used to ride on the tractor and mow the field. Yeah, I'm mowing these people down, okay? So, and if you could help me with that by spreading the word, these are all facts. It'll all come out eventually. Just keep watching my videos. But, yeah, just spread the word on all of that. And there's, YouTube's good. They're not in the mind hacking, but I'm not saying all the technological people are, bad. A lot of them are transhumanists who are involved in these schemes, and they're helping cover it up because that's what they want. They want to snuff the Christian. It's not just Christian either. I mean, it doesn't matter what race or whatever you are. Basically, what they did was use Trump to, social media came along, they planted Trump as the president, and he had all his rhetoric that would attract what his supporter was, which is what I'm talking about. So once he's president and you've got social media out there, your AI can monitor the social media to label people, okay, a Trump supporter, and that would be the people that you would end up targeting. It's a big psyop. But what I ran was a counter psyop, Operation Bait and Tackle, and that's what they were running. See, they were running Operation Bait and Tackle. What God was running was a counter Operation Bait and Tackle with an Iran-Con translate, that the story would make you go, oh, yeah, they all got conned while they were trying to murder us. Yeah, God ran that. So it's the fourth beast, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's the fourth beast. Comes in, separates the good people from the holy people. So if you don't want to be slaves, which you already are, you just don't realize it. This technology, once it hacks your mind, you are not even coherent. I mean, you're not even aware of the fact that it's manipulating your thoughts. That's how sophisticated it is. It's so sophisticated you can't tell that it's manipulating your thoughts. The only reason that I can tell when my thoughts are being manipulated or when they're really hammering me is I have indicators all over my body, and each little spot is a indication for, like over here's Russia, over here's DARPA, right? I got Lockheed Martin in the center of my neck back there, and that indication kind of lets me know if a thought just came into my mind who's agreeing with me, or where that might have came from, or something like that. So these indicators on my body these are all being recorded by the military, by the way. So they're capturing the indication as I'm being hammered. All right, that's how sophisticated that is. And what that does is it has given them the ability to understand exactly how, because everybody has the technology now. So they're hacking everybody's hacking everybody, okay? It's a hack off, all right? So so I know that I'm being hacked because the indicator will tell me I'm being hacked, right? And that was painful, by the way, when they set that up. It was very painful, just for the record. So keep all that in mind, and also have the heads-up display, which I had one my whole life. But when they hacked me to re-educate me, I ended up with a new heads-up display, which was a little more sophisticated looking, but it lies. It's fake. It's bullshit. The old heads-up display is pretty sure it's the Soviet supermodel who was in Hustler magazine. Sovereign 5, IET, the one I was talking about, that pegged the oil to the Bitcoin and all of that. So if you have a sovereign ET who was packing the heat or the bucket Adeline technology to counter the New World Order technology that was going to re-educate me, in my entire life, Iran-Contra was a trap that once they, because this technology can forecast future events like you can't imagine, Pinky and the Brain forecasted all of this unbelievably to the T. So the whole thing was a trap, okay? So the cosmic technology that I had marched me around the world, and my life story ended up, even when I went in the Giza pyramids after 9/11, and when 9/11 happened, after they hooked me up to the technology that put me into the deep state system. So when they put me into this deep state system with the key in my mind that came from the cosmos, it plugged in the PSYOP, or the false flag, which was 9/11, and they didn't understand the underlying symbolism and everything that I've explained to include sad am who's sane. We went to IRAQ, a real Q, not that bullshit on the internet, which is a fake PSYOP, okay, that was designed to deceive Trump supporters. The real Q is a quantum apocalypse. Apoca means to demean or belittle, and lips is your mouth, kind of like the cinnamon makes my lips swell up. So I'm demeaning and belittling all of the technological elite who are nothing more than slaves, and they pick them based on their names, right? But Trump is, he's a slave too, okay? But he's a different kind of slave. He was an effective cosmic slave to help portray all of this, and really, if you throw a boomerang, here's what Trump is, right? He was just blackmailed into being president, but see, he didn't even understand the underlying the underlying system that you can see in that Space Needle video. Remember I said the deeper than deep state? So you got to keep all that secret from everybody. So you got to have a real tight circle until the right appropriate time to cut everybody's heads off. So Trump was a boomerang. We threw it out there, right? And everybody's like, oh yeah, we're good to go. We got this. We're about to kill all these Christians. And then the boomerang came back and it chopped all the pagans' heads off. Cosmic psyop. Oh, and one more thing I want to point out is I said Tulsi Gabbard would be the president. She still may be, the actual president. But the reason that I was saying that, she's USOC too, United States Army Special Operations Command. And basically, with Biden in there as a military president, you have Tulsi in there. So she's like the queen, right? She's actually the... So if you got your little front man up there, and then herself and myself, who was in the movie Idiocracy with Upgrade... Yeah, that's the technology that allows you to buck the technological elites' mind hack, which murders you basically, like everybody in Washington. So what you've got is you've got Biden up there standing in place of Tulsi Gabbard, like I said, would take place. And you'll see a whole lot of military operations and things like that taking place in the near future that basically absolutely devastates and destroys anybody that was involved in hacking people's minds to re-educate them. Total death. Total annihilation, bloodbath like you can't imagine is coming. So I hope you're not squeamish. And conveniently, I forgot this part, but it always works out majestically. After they tortured me for 2 years, after they used me to take out Dan Patrick, gave me 3 heart attacks, and then I had the butterfly stroke, which is part of the re-education camp. That's when I was at Buckeye Pipeline. I got back to normal. Everything was great, right? Well, I went and bought, I reached into my savings, and I went and bought a $50,000, 22-foot, I believe, spray foam insulation trailer, which is for sale, by the way, Church of Christ. And if you could find somebody that would buy that from me, I only used it once, okay? I need the money. I'll sell it. I paid 50 grand for it. Hell, I'll sell it for 15 grand at this point. All right. It's worth every penny of that. Easy. All right. I just need the money. But the reason, okay. So I was tortured for 2 years, re-education camp, waterboarded, lost my job. Everything was fine. I got back to normal. I went and opened a spray. Do you see what they're doing here? I went and opened a spray foam insulation business. And I just got going. Everything was looking good. And boom, just like that, the CIA has already unleashed their beast on me again as soon as I got that spray foam insulation business going. This is the technological elite. And they started torturing me again. Not which is this electromagnetic torture, okay? And the buck and Adeline only works so well. As long as I'm not working, as long as I don't have a job, they don't torture me because this is re-education camp. But they didn't understand every time I get re-educated, it turns into something that screws them as the thing that they're not understanding. Their system is, I'm the root hub of their system. And when the system tries to re-educate me, the water seeds in my mind. It's not a water gate. It's a seed. It was planted in my mind. And it always counters with the next available option while it's trying to re-educate me. So the re-education that took place once I got the insulation business was I started watching Alex Jones' show under mind control, which is illegal. Like I said, they thought they were using me. They thought they were going to set me up, but that's what this insulation is all about. I have 60,000 emails that unbelievably exposes their illegal technocracy and lays out to the Texas Rangers, which is complete insulation to them now. I mean, they can blackmail the Washington just like that anytime they want. They want something, they can blackmail Washington. You want something, blackmail Washington, because they're insulated now with all the emails that I sent them, right? Just like the Church of Christ. If you'll look at my Facebook page, there's my back banner there is my business, which was this insulation. So all of those emails and these videos would be insulation from this technological elite. Not all of them are bad, but the ones that take it upon themselves to hack and reprogram people because they don't like the way you think, literally. So it always backfires on them is what I'm getting at. So now I was re-educated, you know, like I said, cyanide, prophetic gangster, assassin, and then the insulation business was the last one, and all of those emails and everything that I provided to the Texas Rangers, which can be provided to you, church. I've already given instructions to Lieutenant Dan and the Texas Rangers to hand you all of that insulation, which is kind of dirty when you read it. But you got to understand that was the key that was in my head. That's what we used. And it was also ears in a pickle jar. I was simultaneously emailing Alex Jones while I emailed the intel community so that later on they couldn't come after me saying, oh, you're an extremist. Well, how am I an extremist when I'm feeding the intel community intel that's very pertinent to what's going on? Right? You see the trap there? So not all the intel community is bad. There's some intel agencies helping me here finalize all of this, mostly the Army intel agencies. So, so all of that's insulation. So I got in the insulation business, and then I was reprogrammed to sit down and type over 50,000 emails easily, right? And every single one of those emails was sent to people like the Texas Rangers and Defense Intelligence Agency, which is also insulation for themselves. I mean, that's how bad this is. That's how serious this takeover is. Even the intel agencies have to insulate. They weren't even privy. Their job isn't to police the domestic affairs, right? Their job's to police foreign militaries and things like that. So it's out of their lane. But when you hand them undeniable evidence of what's going on, it's all of a sudden in their lane because it affects them directly. You remember when General Flynn was attacked? He was DIA, right? Yeah, they're actually patriots. See, they're attacking patriots, right? So that's something to keep in mind. It's all about attacking Christians and patriots or anybody that would be a Trump supporter. That's what, and they're using technology to do it. I mean, they're absolutely hacking everybody. So all of those emails and all of these videos and everything's insulation for anybody that has them, right? And Susan Wojcinski over there at YouTube is married, and she's pregnant with Jesus right now.